Hello, this is Donald Mitchell, and welcome to Finance Magic Presents Video Snippets from Less Pain, More Gain, 10 Strategies to Pay Off Your Mortgage Faster, plus other smart tactics. This is topic number 1, the origins of finance magic, presented as video snippet number 1A, which covers the period from college to just before I created the Finance Magic booklet. The purpose for topic number 1, the origins of finance magic, is to illustrate my qualifications for presenting the material covered in these video snippets on Less Pain, More Gain, 10 Strategies to Pay Off Your Mortgage Faster, and also share with you the origins of the name, Finance Magic. To keep this snippet from being too long, I have split the topic into 3 snippets. A word I use to describe myself is unconventional. I usually take whatever situation I am in and try to add something extra that almost nobody else is doing. I earned a BA in economics from Stanford University, but 3 areas that captured my interest outside the normal academic offerings were 1. Educational reform, 2. Spiritual solutions to violence, and 3. The realities of recycling solid waste. Here's a copy of my college diploma. During college, I served as the National Sierra Club Service Trip Outing Chairman and administered a wonderful program of volunteer work project outings in the backcountry. The projects were usually trash cleanup trips or trail maintenance parties. We worked very closely with the National Park Service and National Forest Service on these projects. The service trip outing program was one of the few opportunities that were available to legal minors to get some major leadership experience. I led outings of more than 30 people for 10 days in the backcountry. I also started an offshoot project that I labeled the Airplane Wreck Cleanup Project, where a work project, instead of picking up trash, was attempting the removal of abandoned airplane wreckage from the backcountry, and in most cases we successfully were able to recycle the airplane. Here's a picture from one of those airplane wreck cleanup outings, where we tackled the wreckage of a B-18 bomber that crashed 3 days after Pearl Harbor and was one of the more difficult wrecks in this area to try to remove. We had help from the Army with their helicopter. There you can see the tail section being transported out of the backcountry. In 1976, I passed the real estate license exam in California and became a full-time real estate salesman. And then in 1977, I obtained my broker's license and opened my own office in Auburn, California. During the next 10 years, I was a full-time real estate broker and salesman, and I earned lifetime membership in the Placer County Board of Realtors Masters Club, which was originally called the $1 Million Sales Club, but they changed the name and upped the requirements after the price of houses started increasing. I was also elected by my peers to be a director of the Placer County Board of Realtors. I helped a client of mine process 2 major subdivisions and build a golf course. Unfortunately, I got involved in a mining venture which turned into a major embarrassment when the prime promoters turned out to be con men. As part of my personal recovery process, I decided to enroll in business school and earn an MBA degree. I was accepted into the UC Berkeley Special Evening SF MBA program, and I thrived in the classes and earned membership in Beta Gamma Sigma, which is the Business Honor Society, only awarded to the top 5% of the class. Here's a copy of my MBA degree and evidence of gaining interest into Beta Gamma Sigma. I did a special project for one of my classes for Hart Federal Savings and Loan, which is now part of U.S. Bank, studying the structural changes necessary to remain competitive in the deregulated savings and loan industry. Wendell Roby, who had been the founding patriarch of Hart Federal Savings and Loan, had passed on, and this was before the savings and loan industry imploded, and the management was interested in learning about how to change their culture to a sales culture. Here's a copy of the cover of the report that I submitted. But one of the side effects of doing this project was it made me decide to switch to the lending side of the real estate industry. I became a residential loan officer. When I became a loan officer, I was shocked at how naive and ignorant I had been. I thought I knew a lot about how financing worked being a real estate broker. I had assumed that each loan officer was charged with offering their company's interest rates. I know that is what potential borrowers believe. They would always inquire about what my company's rates were. It felt strange to me when I learned that as an independent contractor, I could adjust the interest rate according to how much commission I wanted to be paid for doing a loan. And all the other loan officers with the same company got to set their own interest rate pricing markup once they received the wholesale rate sheet to identify their cost of money. I decided after due reflection that my marketing would be based on educating the real estate agents that I was targeting as referral sources. I kind of wanted to save them from some of the same mistakes I had made without knowing about it, being so naive about financing. I began creating a weekly informational flyer that I distributed in place of the industry standard rate sheet flyer that was often obsolete before we got it to the real estate office. I named my flyer the Weekly Focus. Each weekly focus featured a different informative topic, and I rotated the flyer color so the agents would know when a new weekly focus had arrived. Before long, the company I worked for offered to pay me to allow the other loan officers to distribute the weekly focus, so I started creating flyers that had their names on them. Then lenders in other cities also asked if their loan officers could distribute the weekly focus. Creation of the Weekly Focus informational flyer as a marketing tool to help loan officers educate real estate agents marked the beginnings of a side business. After I had written several years of Weekly Focus topics, I sorted the topics by category and printed them as a group. This became a training manual that was required reading for new loan officers at the lender where I worked. This concludes video snippet number 1A, focusing in on the time between college and the creation of the Finance Magic booklet. Tomorrow's snippet will be focusing in on the Finance Magic booklet. Thank you for listening.